One morning, a boy named Juo Young hurries to the bathroom mirror and grabs his left eye at the same time. He discovers a strange red symbol has appeared in his eye. He also sees some kind of information above his head, like his own name. But like most people, he ignores it and heads to school as if nothing weird happened, even though his eye starts looking like it belongs to Sasuke from Naruto. At school, Juo is just an ordinary guy with average looks and pretty bad grades. He's going to cram school because he failed an exam that everyone else passed. He's terrible at sports, but loves video games a lot. Since he can't fight back, he gets picked on and bullied after someone catches him liking a popular girl. While thinking about what happened, his eye starts acting strange again. He begins seeing information about everyone around him. Juo wonders if this is happening because he's been playing too much ranked Valorant, but the details are too real to be fake. He can see people's names and ages clearly, but he doesn't notice other stuff like difficulty or interest. Then he sees that the info about girls is more detailed than the guys. Sadly, he notices all the girls' interest in him is at 0. This makes him feel bad, thinking he's super boring. Eventually, he gets over it and spots the popular girl, Kim Ran, with 2 cool guys asking her out. His friend Park Jawoon asks if he wants to play Tekken later, but Juo says no because he has to study. Suddenly, his special eye turns on again, and he looks at Ran. To his shock, her interest level is now at 1. He stares at her, unable to believe the school's queen bee might actually like him a tiny bit. Ran catches him staring and calls him out, asking why he's looking at people with such creepy eyes. The whole class turns to watch them. Juo freaks out and says she's imagining things. She gets closer and asks if he's calling her a liar, while Juo yells that she caught him staring at her armor. Ran raises her hand, and Juo thinks he's done for as his life flashes before his eyes. But then, he looks up and sees Ran frozen, like time has stopped. It turns out his eye's power, called stopwatch, has kicked in, freezing time for 5 minutes. A pop-up appears, saying a tutorial quest has started. He has to make Ran scream really loud, and if he succeeds, her interest in him will jump by 20 points, plus something called target domination will also go up by 20. Totally confused, Juo starts to nervously smile. 5 minutes later, Ran is shaking on the ground, and everyone's stunned that the loser Juo has vanished. Ran feels strange, like something weird just happened to her super fast, and she keeps trembling, wondering why her body feels so off. Meanwhile, Juo is somehow back home, muttering that things could have gone totally crazy. During the 5 frozen minutes, Juo finished his quest and zipped back home in an instant. When he got there, his eye sparked up again, and messages popped up saying he'd leveled up. With this new level, he unlocked a skill called Eye of Incubus. Then another message told him to check his status window, which appeared like a game screen full of info about himself. He noticed his stats were pretty weak, even though he had a cool nickname. Soon, another message showed he had 2 unfinished quests. Curious, he tapped the screen, and it opened a list of his quests, one about boosting his strength, and another about conquering. Juo groaned about the strength training quest but brushed it off, excited that his time-freezing power could turn him from a loser into a strong guy. His celebration got cut short when someone behind him said, "Excuse me?" He turned to see his red-headed neighbor next door. Juo was stunned to realize a pretty girl lived so close, and I was just as surprised to learn he lived alone. He asked why she was there, and she told him to quiet down because she was studying for exams. While they talked, Juo realized he could see detailed info about people now, but he couldn't because he didn't have enough me. Confused, he sighed and started messing with his eye, adding points to me while ignoring his neighbor standing right there. This unlocked extra details about her, Park Nami, like her measurements and single status, making Juo smirk at her for scolding him. He activated stopwatch level 2 to freeze time again, and he grew a couple of inches taller, proving he could really control time. He called out Nami's name and tried the same trick he pulled on Ran, but it backfired. He got zapped for messing with someone whose interest in him was 0. Juo dropped to his knees and Nami rushed to help, thinking he was sick. The next day at school, Juo was deep in thought about the day before when Ran broke in and told him to come with her to the bathroom. There, she asked what really happened yesterday, but Juo played it cool, acting like nothing went down. This made Ran yell, accusing him of making her underwear vanish. Since leveling up, Juo felt like a new guy and flipped it back on her, saying she was just trying to get his attention. He kept pushing and Ran started shaking, but she warned him they were still in the girls' bathroom and threatened to scream. Juo dared her to try, saying she couldn't. When Ran opened her mouth to call his bluff, Juo used his eye to freeze time again. Moments later, Ran was alone and couldn't speak. Turns out Juo could now turn a person's mind on or off. He popped back in and asked if she was even a little shocked. He bragged that even though her mind was awake, she couldn't talk or move, adding she should have been nicer to him. Juo pulled her close and said he was like a demon king from games or anime. What happened next is too wild to describe, so just picture it. Oh, and he started controlling her and learned what she really liked. After a few minutes, a countdown warned him his power would end in 10 seconds. Stuck in a bad spot, Juo couldn't escape, and when his ability ran out, he thought he was toast. He panicked as Ran started waking up, but then her interest in him shot up to 40. Thinking fast, Juo tried to spook her by asking if she liked pineapple juice. She got shy, but he said there was no reason to feel weird about it. He claimed her drinking pineapple juice made a magical contract, saying his pineapple had strong magic and curses, so now she belonged to him. Juo warned that if she didn't obey, she'd be in big trouble, and she actually bought it all, even the part about Santa being real. To his shock, Ran started crying and clung to him. To calm her down, he said that even though he's a mighty demon king, she wasn't cursed right away. He told her she's his type, pretty and fit, so she's perfect for a demon king like him. Juo added that if she listened to him, she'd get riches, fame, and anything she wanted. Just then, the bathroom door creaked open, so he grabbed her arm and they hid in a stall. Seizing the moment, he called it sussy time and asked her to show off her skills. Somehow, they ended up on a pretend bike ride in the stall, but the buzzing electric motor was tough to keep quiet from everyone else in the room. Unfortunately, they overfilled the bike by mistake, and the story picks up with Juo sticking close to Ran. The Demon King makes sure she's got enough protein. Meanwhile, he levels up and gets stronger, and Ran's interest in him hits the max. Juo gains a new skill faster than you can say Dio, and they teleport back home. Ran heads to the shower and starts talking to herself, thinking a loser like Juo couldn't really be a Demon King. She says there's no way that's real, even though he can stop time. She grumbles that this shouldn't happen to the most popular girl in school. As she rants, she admits she's starting to like him, which makes her shiver at the thought. Suddenly, she falls to the floor, totally confused about what's going on. She feels a surge of energy and thinks Juo's punishing her. Meanwhile, Juo's thrilled with how the day went and keeps shouting that he's a real Demon King now. But a problem pops up, and he gets sidetracked figuring out how to use his leftover stat points. He's leveled up twice since getting his powers, boosting his strength, agility, stamina, and me, with 6 points still left. He tries putting 2 points into strength, and abs start showing up on his belly. Now he's stuck wondering if he should dump all his points into strength to get super buff like Arnold, or save some for me to improve his skills. Then a notification says Ran's thinking about him even though he didn't sneeze. Another pop-up asks if he wants to use soul connecting, and like clicking yes in a game queue, he hits it fast. A dark circle appears under him, taking him straight to Ran, but now he's invisible, like a sneaky fart. He scans the room and sees Ran collapsed right next to him. He tries to help, but she thinks she's hearing voices, not knowing an invisible guy is there. Thinking she's about to get punished, she starts apologizing, but it backfires. Juo hears her trash-talking him. She begs more, but he just asks if she's okay. She says she's feeling really hot, though Juo knows what she really means. He tells her to fix it herself before ordering more pineapples. Somehow, she picks up French and says, "Pardon," so Juo turns into a cheerleader and tells her, "Just do it." She listens, scared of making the Demon King mad. While Juo watches, she randomly learns French again, so he helps her with some romantic French words, pretending to be a jackhammer. They get interrupted by a ringing phone but try to ignore it. The phone rings again, and Juo checks it. Turns out some simp is texting her. The next day, Juo is back at school, starting to realize he's got some pretty cool powers and his stats are getting better. As class begins, he sees the same classmates, but now the girls who didn't care about him before are slowly showing interest, one by one. To his surprise, one girl even says, "Good morning," as she walks by, and he mumbles an awkward reply. Moments later, he hears another girl say he's starting to look cute. In just 2 days, he's gone from a nobody to someone a girl actually wants to sit next to. Shocked, he freezes when she asks, and she has to ask again because he doesn't answer. Finally, he manages to say, "Of course," but he still acts like his old shy self. Luckily, something wild happens, like the Fire Nation attacking, and his eye powers kick in again. This time, he checks out Park Ne and sees her interest level is at 8. Like in every anime where the hero builds a harem, he uses his powers without thinking twice and takes a closer look at her. He starts searching for pillows because he's got sneaky ideas, but he finds out she's super innocent. While everyone's frozen, he talks to himself, but suddenly he gets hit with a penalty for her low interest. He half expected this since the tutorial's over, and he hopes for a new domination quest to pop up. But when time unfreezes, nothing happens, and he's let down. Ne snaps awake, feeling off but steady, and notices Juo staring at her. With his smooth charm, he just says, "Hi," and she starts swooning over our ultra-confident guy. Her interest jumps from 8 to 9 just because he looked at her. Juo starts plotting in his head, knowing he's still got Ran under his thumb. Speaking of Ran, she's been acting like she's craving pineapple juice lately, so Juo decides to make her jealous. It works. When a popular guy talks to her, she ignores him, too busy fuming. She stands up, still brushing the guy off, and kicks Ne's chair, telling her to switch seats. She yells it again, shocking the popular crowd, who start whispering that Ran might actually like Juo. Hearing this, our simp king starts scheming and warns his friends to back off. Not done yet, he heads toward the demon king, himself. Ran finally sits next to an annoyed Juo who scolds her for messing up his harem plans. She feels bad, but he teases her, saying she's jealous, lightening the mood. Then he comforts her, saying she's his first, so she shouldn't worry too much, and Ran feels a bit better. Juo asks Ran if she followed his orders from last night, and she says yes. Turns out he picked her outfit, and she's missing a few things. Then Juo stands up to leave the room, but a simp blindsides him, knocking him down. The simp calls him a loser, but Juo secretly uses his trump card. Ran gets mad at the simp while Juo taps into his inner power. He takes a strong stance, like an earthbender, and gets back up. Now the simp's in trouble. Juo starts trash-talking the blonde guy, Yoongjun, and his eye powers kick in. He sees Yoongjun's strength is only 7, so he teases him, calling him a weak little boy. With a quick punch, Juo sends Yoongjun flying across the room. Amazed at his own strength, he whispers to himself that a few more levels will turn him into Superman. Like a true king, he tells Yoongjun he only seemed weak before because he was playing with him. Meanwhile, Ran's buzzing with excitement, watching the old loser Juo become a real man. Juo spares Yoongjun and tells him to follow him outside. Ran sticks by Juo's side, while Yoongjun trails behind, confused about what's going on. He asks why Juo brought Ran too, and Juo says he just wanted Yoongjun to see something cool. Juo pulls Ran close and makes Yoongjun watch, sparking jealousy. Ran starts following Juo's orders, leaving Yoongjun stunned. Juo keeps giving commands, and Ran happily goes along with them. Yoongjun looks like he's about to lose it, like he needs a bathroom break. Things heat up so fast, it's like watching a rocket take off. Yoongjun ends up looking like a Teen Titans character and tries using his own powers, going all in. But instead of facing a big punch, he gets kicked hard and goes down fast. Juo mocks him in an Australian accent, saying, "Oi," and that's when things get serious. He uses his eye again, freezing Yoongjun in place. Juo combines his skills, forcing Yoongjun to watch him and Ran together. This is where the story shifts into a wild new vibe that's up to your imagination. I feel bad for Yoongjun, so we'll skip the part where Juo acts like a jackhammer. Turns out Yoongjun never stood a chance from the start. When he hears this, his spirit breaks even more. Meanwhile, Ran gets thrown to the ground like a toy, and Yoongjun looks totally hopeless. Suddenly, a notification pops up saying Juo did something bad, earning him extra stats. Energy surges through him, boosting his charm and MP too. The next day at school, Juo and Ran show up, and after yesterday's chaos, Juo's popularity has exploded. After taking down the top guy, girls are now into him, while the boys are jealous that a former nobody is stealing the show. He even unlocks a new skill called Dignity, which puts heavy pressure on anyone weaker than him. Now the guys who used to tease him can't even look at him. Meanwhile, Jungjun's gone missing, but Juo spots Nayun and senses something's off, and not just because he's there. Nayun starts shaking like she's seen a celebrity, so Juo walks over to her. Of course, Ran gets jealous, noticing the Demon King's checking out someone else. When he sits next to Nayun, she stumbles over her words, so he uses his eye and sees her interest level jump to 31, with her difficulty dropping super low. Shocked by the high number, he starts plotting how to win her over. They chat about yesterday, and just as he hoped, a domination quest pops up. He plays it cool but slips up by saying her name before she tells it to him. He covers it by saying he's into her, which is how he knew, while Ran looks more and more annoyed. After school, he invites Nayun to his place, proud he hasn't even needed his powers yet. When they get there, he takes her hand and leads her inside like a gentleman. After a quick shower, he finds Nayun nervously sitting on his bed. He tells her she's the first girl to visit his house, and after some small talk, he moves in fast like a snake. No powers needed. He turns into a jackhammer again, and the rest is a blur. Later, Joe explains to Nayun that he's not dating Ran, so everything's cool. He uses his powers and learns Nayun likes strong guys like a gorilla. He plays that up, watching her interest skyrocket like crazy. Like in a game, he maxes out her interest bar and finishes the domination quest in no time. Right after, Juo gains more power as his stats climb higher. He smirks, thinking it was too easy, and asks if she wants a banana for some potassium. She gets excited, but he says nah, he's gotta run to the store. Nayun mutters something in French, annoyed, and Juo freezes. He forgot his phone with Duolingo to translate. Lucky for him, Nayun's ready to teach him some romantic French. They get into the lesson, but it gets loud, and the whole neighborhood hears them. Tired of the noise, he uses his eye to download Nayun's deepest secrets into his brain. Then he takes off her glasses so she won't get a headache. He turns into a jackhammer again, unlocking a skill that messes with someone's mind after every hit. He accidentally uses it on Nayun, and she goes wild, but he rolls with it. The new skill makes things even louder, and his red-headed neighbor starts getting mad. Eventually, Nami bangs her desk and gets ready to face off with our Demon King. She storms out with her fist clenched, not knowing Juo's busy sharpening his skills. Meanwhile, Juo finishes linking minds with Nayun, who's super happy with his new, crazy strong ability. It's so powerful that Nayun feels as free as I do when I finally hit the bathroom. Juo locks it in by handing Nayun his phone to add her number, which she does without hesitation. Now she's officially in his harem and even calls him her boyfriend. They hear a noise outside, and Juo's curiosity pulls him to check it out. He opens the door and finds Nami, his neighbor, who sarcastically reminds him she lives next door. She's thrown off when she sees Juo's gotten buffer, stumbling over her words as she gets flustered by this future king. Nami starts trembling, totally confused about what's happening to her, so Juo asks if she's okay. Her body moves like she's not in control, and she can't believe the weak Juo she knew is now ripped like torn jeans. Deep down, she starts thinking he might have been her type all along. With her acting strange, Juo uses his eye to check her out closer. He sees Nami's interest has shot up from 0 to 11 in just one day. He jumps at the chance and starts chatting with her. She shyly tries to mention the loud noises from earlier, but can't get the words out in front of this top-tier guy. Suddenly, Nayun peeks around the corner, shocking Nami by calling her sister. Things flip fast. A new domination quest pops up, and Nami's gone from chill to hostile in seconds. Nami steps out like she's from another planet and sharply says, "Can we talk?" Fast forward to a coffee shop, where Juo's stunned to learn his neighbor is Nayun's sister. A flashback shows Nami yelling at Nayun to go home, then dragging Juo along, landing him here with an angry redhead. Even though Nami's mad, a quest appears. Win her over in 1 week for a huge reward, 3 levels and 10 extra charm points. With such a big prize, Juo starts plotting, since Nami's his type anyway. He zones out dreaming, but Nami snaps him back by shouting. Another notification warns that if he fails, he'll lose his powers. In 2 seconds, Juo goes from daydreaming to freaking out, not the fun kind of edge. Helpful tips pop up, saying Nami won't gain interest while she's mad, making Juo nervous as she keeps scolding him. All he can think about is how to turn this around and finish the quest. He sips his drink nervously until he can focus, only to hear Nami demand he never see Nayun again. Juo blurts out a confused "why" in French, leaving Nami speechless and not in a good way. She slams the table and says Naeun needs to focus on studying, not distractions, since she's in a repeat school. Her rant gets so loud she accidentally helps Juo by embarrassing herself in public. Everyone nearby stares, and without Juo doing a thing, Nami's humiliation level hits 8. After her outburst, she excuses herself and heads for the door. But Juo stops her by speaking up, deciding to rile her up more. He says there's no way he'll leave Naeun alone, wagging his finger with sass. Nami spins around furious, but Juo stands and uses his powers, seizing the moment. He's got 10 minutes to pull off his plan. He starts by explaining to a frozen Nami that just because he and Naeun were together doesn't mean they're dating, catching her off guard. Nami mutters something back even though she can't move much, which surprises Naeun. A pop-up shows up saying Nami's fighting Juo's powers a bit while she's yelling at him. Still, she can't win, so Juo leans in and asks how she wants him to fix things. He starts throwing insults at her, but they're true, and he's just keeping the vibe chill. Nami's stunned by what's happening, but Juo casually says she's his type. He goes full Demon King mode and tells her if she doesn't want him around Naeun, he'll hang out with her instead. He starts checking her out like it's a yearly review, but she fights back, strong enough to weaken his powers a little. She asks if he's lost it, but Juo just plays innocent. She warns him she's training to be a lawyer and he'll regret messing with her in jail. Juo tells her to look around. Everything's frozen, and no one, not even fancy cameras, can catch what he's doing. Pineapple juice was all over this scene, but as time ran out, he finished the quest and got a small stat boost. The next day, Juo's getting stronger and jokes he's a fun guy like a mushroom. In just 3 days, his stats have shot up big time. If this was a game like Blox Fruits, he'd be close to mythical status. With his strength over 10, he's packing on more muscle. He used to mess around, but now he's thinking he might actually become a real Demon King. His thoughts get cut off by sandal footsteps outside. He guesses it's Nami. He's right. His fiery neighbor slams her door hard, and he figures she's mad, probably not over that time-freezing trick he pulled. Then, bad luck hits. Juo's out of cash. He whines to himself that he's broke, even with all his wild powers. Instead of using his abilities for good, he thinks about calling Ran for food, but decides it'd hurt his pride. Then he remembers he can stop time and rushes to a nearby store. He hesitates, knowing stealing's wrong, but somehow everything else he's done doesn't count as bad to him. He activates his powers and steps inside with 5 minutes to grab what he needs. He snags some ramen but trips over a frozen part-time worker stocking drinks. It's a K-pop idol trainee, and he gets distracted. Anyone into New Jeans? He tries to touch her without checking her interest level and gets pushed back by his own powers. Grumbling, he leaves the store, recalling a wise saying, as long as there's a chance, he's got a goal like in any good anime. He checks the time. 30 seconds left before everything unfreezes. He barely makes it out as his powers fade, relieved but annoyed. He mutters that if that idol hadn't distracted him, he could have grabbed some Kit Kat ice cream too. A notification pops up, saying Juo did something naughty again. Instead of getting punished, Juo gets a big pile of experience points and an upgrade to his main power. He's stunned. His idol Dio trained hard to freeze time for just seconds, but in a few days, Juo can stop it for over 10 minutes and pick who stays frozen. He mutters to himself that becoming a Demon King might actually happen. Later, he gets 2 alerts at once. Ran and Naeun are both thinking about him, which calms him down a bit after his K-pop idol run-in got him all worked up. He's stuck choosing between them, but then decides he doesn't need either one. A second later, he grabs his phone and calls Naeun, craving some clear-headedness after his banana moment. He tells her to rush to his place, saying it's the master's orders. When she arrives, Juo's munching a sandwich while Naeun's eating his ice cream. Right then, Ran races up the stairs and bursts into Juo's apartment, asking what he needs. She walks into a messy scene, too wild for the editor to keep, and freezes in shock. Naeun, caught in the act, can't answer without choking. So an angry Ran yells, "What are you doing, stepmaster? I mean, Naeun?" With no reply, Ran's fury takes over. She puts on imaginary boxing gloves and kicks Naeun hard, asking if she's lost her mind. Juo tries to calm Ran down, but she snaps at him to shut up, a big mistake. Nervous, Juo says she should listen since he's the master, but Ran, like in a cheesy romance flick, says a woman has to fight for her man. She keeps shouting at Naeun until Juo's had enough and steps in. He tells Ran she's getting too full of herself, snapping her back to reality. He points out she's late and questions why she's talking so much. Ran apologizes, saying she was late because she wanted to look good for him. Juo pulls her close and says that's no excuse. He doesn't care about makeup or clothes. With smooth charm, he tells her to be like his favorite pizza. Nothing on it but pineapples. Naeun, right there, asks if he means right now, annoying Juo a bit, but Ran goes along with it. Still not happy, Juo tells her to do squats so he can check out her rear guard. She does a bunch, and Juo pulls her onto his lap. After that, it's all good. Ran teases that he's mean, and he admits it was punishment for earlier. He introduces the girls and tells Ran not to fight Naeun anymore. Ran agrees fast, but Juo sees she's still jealous of Naeun's banana eating. He reassures her she's his first and not to worry. Then he asks Ran for a favor, which she's quick to accept. Turns out, he wants her to teach Naeun some special skills. He says Ran's bike riding experience makes her perfect to teach a beginner like Naeun. Ran gets mad fast and smacks him, leaving Juo confused. She says he deserved it for how he worded it, then asks what he wants her to teach. They end up doing a full lesson on how French became the language of love. Through it all, Naeun picks up basic French with Ran's help. A hidden quest pops up, make both girls happy at once, and if he nails it, his power level could top 9,000, beating out Ash Ketchum. With the quest on, Juo rushes to finish as Naeun hits the finish line in a flash, letting him complete it. 2 notifications pop up, giving Juo a new skill called Girls Link, along with extra stat points and more MP, like in a gacha game. Another hidden message says his incubus power leveled up, unlocking a passive ability called Weakness. As he grabs his new powers, Santa takes over his soul for a few seconds. After, he whispers a thank you in Naeun's ear while still acting like a jackhammer. Mid-cosplay, his new weakness skill kicks in, showing glowing spots on bodies, weak points for total chaos. Juo goes full demon mode with these overpowered tricks, muttering that it's basically cheating. He decides to try Girls Link, letting him share Naeun's feelings with someone else who has over 20 interest. Turns out, he can only link her with Kim Ran or Park Nami so far. He picks Ran instead of Nami, and the skill works perfectly. Sorry, you'll have to skip a whole spicy chapter. The girls feel like they just won their first Fortnite game. Meanwhile, Nami's in her room, studying and getting mad at Juo, wondering if he can really control time. She thinks about reporting him to Riot Games, but knows people would call her nuts. Remember how Juo didn't link Nami with her sister? Well, the sneaky Demon King does it the next day. Nami jolts awake, thinking everything was a dream, but Girls Link makes it hard for her to move, thanks to Juo's power. She freaks out when she sees it's past noon and she hasn't studied, muttering that she's toast. Her door creaks open, scaring her like a Roblox door's jump scare. Instead of getting ready to fight, Nami just asks who's there. Lucky for her, it's her sister Naeun calling out. But when she gets closer, Nami's nightmare comes true. Juo's there too. She feels ashamed seeing him, and he casually asks to come in, making Nami yell at him to leave or she'll call the cops for breaking in. Naeun steps in, telling her to chill, but Nami snaps, using her full name. Things are getting serious. Nami throws insults at Juo, but Naeun just grins creepily and says, Juo's her master now. Nami's stunned and demands to know what's up. Naeun says she's introducing her master to her sister, and that Nami will get it once she joins the fun. This is when you'd expect dramatic music. Nami's worst fear is unfolding. Naeun tells her sister she's sure Nami will love what's coming, leaving Nami convinced her sister's too far gone. Meanwhile, Juo claps for Naeun, praising her for explaining it so well. He activates his eye, saying they're here to play. Not like Warzone, though. Nami feels chills like she's in a scary movie, but shakes it off and warns Juo not to come closer or she'll get serious. Juo tells her to relax, but like in every twisty anime, he grabs Naeun instead. Turns out they're not here for Nami, they're just showing off their new relationship with Sass. Juo tells Naeun to cosplay a beach girl and take it even further. Naeun agrees instantly, no hesitation, even with Nami right there, frozen like a stubborn stain after Taco Bell. Juo's thrilled with Naeun's wild obedience. It leaves him speechless. He pulls Nayeon closer, and they act like two wacky peas in a pod.